Now I'm gluing the packing and spacers down. I've done the usual scratch method before I applied the glue, and I am pushing it down next to the bar and then coming back towards me with my thumb, and I've already done the other one, and I push back towards the threaded bar, and what that does is it pushes the glue out away from the slider. And what I'm now doing, moving the outer one by my right thumb equidistant so that I can get a washer and nut in that position. I'm just applying a bit of pressure for a while, and as I always said, measurements are irrelevant. It will be what you are designing for yourself, or putting together for yourself, because the design's here. Now what I need to do now is wait for that to go off. I can't put any plywood on this side because, as you can see, it's way above that bar, and I need it level with the bar so that I can then glue a piece over like that so it will slide, and there is no possibility for that bar to move up and down, even if it wanted to. That's what I'm trying to do, so that when it's up on top, it'll be level with this side as well, so it won't be this plywood anyway. But yeah, that's that. Let that go off. The end is still going off. I don't want to really touch that until later on in the day when it's had a chance to go quite solid, because that's very important. Right, I can't remember whether I said the wires in the gap, being glued in the gap, so that if there's any tendency for the cog to close the gap up, it'll hit the wire and can't go any further. Well, that's the theory anyway. Whether it'll happen or not is another matter. What I've decided to do is not cut the thread, cut the wire down to the thread. So I'll show you what I'm on about. Yeah. I don't want to cut down to the thread like I said I was going to do, but I'm going to bring it down and cut it to the edge of the cog, so once that glue's gone off real hard, that will also help as a stop as well. Okay then, right, on to the next bit. Greasing up, but before I do that, I want to tell you what has occurred. Right, the cog did come off, so that modification didn't work. So what I did was I took the lock nuts back again, cog back again. I ran the sled all the way down to the end so that I had something solid to hit against. Held the threaded bar like that, got the hammer, and sorry, I keep forgetting to turn the screen over so I can see what you're looking at, and you're looking at nothing that I was showing. So what I'll do is I'll pull you out a bit. Okay, right, there we go. Yeah, it undid itself again, so that modification didn't work. So I undid the lock nuts, threaded the cog down further, took the motor off obviously, and then I held I got the sled all the way down to the end, so I had to stop, held that, got my hammer, and I hit the edges over so that the end of the threaded bar sort of mushroomed out around the edges, and then I bound it all the way up, block nuts, glue, etc, etc. Put the motor back on, and I've also put, I don't know if you can, where are we? See that spring there? The light's not very good for that, is it? Hang on a minute. I will rearrange the lighting. Okay, let's see if we can... There we go. That's much better. Yeah, I put that spring in and then took this side of the motor down to the top of the spring and just glued the nut in position so that it can't undo itself. And what that has done is allowed me to move the sled up and down, and when it does jam, it bounces on the spring, so it doesn't actually break anything or undo anything. Okay, so what we're now going to do is we're going to start doing some greasing, because I think that's going to help the motor a hell of a lot as well. So first of all, I'm going to grease in between the butterflies quite a lot. Try not to get it too much down here, just mainly on there. Then I'll run her backwards and forwards a couple of times to free her up. I'll have much better luck once I've got the guides on this side, pardon me, glued down, because there won't be any tendency to try and twist, because the guides will stop it, and then it'll go up and down a lot easier. But we'll give it a squirt, and I'll get a battery and we'll see how well she goes with just this. I'm being generous at this point because I want to make sure it's well and truly in the threads. I don't want to muck about with just little bits. I'm just going to push it down into the thread. Well, I hope I wasn't in the way then when I did that. But right, let's get a battery. Let's try this one. Some leads. I mean, I still haven't charged these batteries up, so I have no idea what they're going to be like. I'm also going to, after this test, put some underneath the sled grease. I just want to try and certainly moving a lot easier. I've noticed that when it gets to the ends that it does struggle a bit, so I should be putting blocks at either end just to cut the distance down. Right, we'll get some grease on the bottom of the sled. I'll use a long piece of plywood for this. Just squirting some on like that, and then I shall just, because eventually it'll all go across. And as normal, I'm probably doing this all wrong, but if it does the job, it does the job. Right, let's try that. Right. Well, it certainly helped that, didn't it? So we'll do the bottom bit now. And I'll put some more on the thread as well. Because I'd rather have too much than too little. And I'm not being stingy with it. Because at the end of the day, I don't want it running on the dry surface. And I know that a lot of you are probably saying, oh, you don't want to use that. It's what I've got. I mean, if I didn't have this and I didn't have any other grease, I do know I've got other grease. If I didn't, I'd probably use butter or margarine or, you know, some other kind of suitable spread. Right, let's try this now, and we should see a marked difference as it goes down the... Don't know why that's... Right. What's probably happening is that this bearing and this bearing are in that line maybe, or not, and the sled is slightly high, so it's making the thread bow, and that's probably what's happening. I mean, I doubt very much, going by watching other CNC machines, that I'd want that much travel anyway, but I wanted to have that much travel because I could, down to the length of these bars. Excuse me. So, but I don't know if you you couldn't see on there because the screen wasn't down there. But when it stopped, it went down on the spring and didn't cause any problems. It just got off the cogs, so to speak. But yeah, I'm quite chuffed with that. It's a result, a very good result as far as I'm concerned. Now I can confidently put those packing pieces in, put the bed on the top, and start thinking about mounting the Dremel. We're getting there, nearly. Right, talk to you in a bit.